Hello and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, the YouTube channel dedicated to helping those over 40 navigate life's complexities and find genuine fulfillment. We understand that as we mature, our priorities shift, and we begin to seek a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Our videos aim to provide you with practical advice and insightful perspectives, drawing on wisdom traditions and proven strategies to enhance your well-being and build a more secure future. Before we dive into today's topic, if you find value in what we share, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us reach more people and continue creating content that matters. Today, we will be exploring the profound concept of gratitude, as highlighted in Buddhist teachings, particularly the Mahamangala Sutta. Buddha considered gratitude, that genuine thankfulness, as the foundation upon which all other good qualities are built. In essence, the Buddha states that possessing a grateful mind is a true blessing for your life. Now, the question arises, how can we cultivate this gratitude, and what exactly does it mean? In Buddhism, the term for gratitude is katannuta. Katanya signifies the capacity to remember the good deeds done for you, the help you've received from others. If you can vividly recall the people who have supported you and the assistance they have offered, that, in its essence, is gratitude. It's not simply acknowledging a favor, but truly appreciating the kindness and effort behind it. This memory and appreciation form the bedrock of a grateful heart, allowing us to recognize the interconnectedness of our lives and the positive contributions of others. So, how do we actively practice gratitude in our daily lives? The beauty of gratitude lies in its accessibility. You can express it and feel thankful for virtually everything in your experience. Let's take a simple example, holding a plate of food. Within that seemingly ordinary moment, you can engage in a conscious practice of gratitude. Think about the people who made that food possible, perhaps your spouse, a family member, or even someone who assisted in its preparation. Acknowledge their effort and care with genuine appreciation. You can simply say, "Thank you," expressing heartfelt gratitude for their contribution. It's about recognizing that the comfort and ease in your life are often the result of the actions and efforts of those around you. Remember to appreciate the simple things, and give your gratitude to those around you, helping improve their lives as well. In every morning that you wake up to see, take a moment to cultivate gratitude in your life. Upon waking, take a moment to acknowledge the gift of life. Express thanks for the people who surround you, those who offer assistance, and those who have stood by you during challenging times. We often overlook the significance of these relationships, taking for granted the support and love they provide. However, gratitude extends beyond the positive aspects of our lives. It also includes appreciating the difficult times and even the individuals who have caused us hardship. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more on wisdom and wealth. It might seem counterintuitive, but you can also cultivate gratitude for challenging situations and difficult people. Many only find gratitude only for the positive times and great individuals in our lives. Consider the tough times as life lessons to be grateful for. After all, these moments are crucial for personal growth and resilience. Imagine a life where everything went your way, where everyone was kind and supportive, where you faced no adversity. Such a life, while seemingly ideal, would lack the richness and depth that comes from overcoming challenges. It's the obstacles we face and the difficult people we encounter that shape us, making our lives more interesting and meaningful. The more challenges we navigate, the more compelling our story becomes. Therefore, we can express gratitude to the individuals who have presented us with difficulties. Thank them for forcing you to practice patience, love, kindness, and compassion. Without these challenges, you might not have developed these essential qualities. By reframing your perspective, you can discover gratitude in every situation and in every relationship. Every day, upon waking, take a moment to express gratitude for all that you have and for everyone who has touched your life. Keep this in mind, and practice the wonderful quality of gratitude. Meditation can give you an appreciation of your own gratitude. Welcome to today's video, where we'll delve into the art of meditation and explore key mindsets that can enhance your practice. One of the most common challenges faced by meditators is maintaining consistency, the ability to meditate every single day. While initiating a meditation session is relatively easy, sustaining it requires dedication and the right mental framework. Many individuals struggle with this, citing a lack of enjoyment or time. However, by adopting specific mindsets before beginning your meditation, you can significantly improve your consistency and overall experience. So, let's dive into these essential mindsets that will help you cultivate a more fulfilling and sustainable meditation practice. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more on wisdom and wealth. The first mindset to cultivate when meditating is to have fewer expectations. It's natural to desire a calm, focused, and peaceful mind during meditation. However, this state doesn't materialize overnight. It requires consistent practice and patience. Think of your mind as a baby learning to walk. Allow yourself time and space to develop, setting realistic expectations for each session. Aim for incremental progress, perhaps a mere 0.01% improvement with each meditation. Be patient and gentle with yourself, allowing your mind to evolve gradually. By approaching meditation with minimal expectations, you reduce the pressure and increase the likelihood of enjoying the process. When we harbor unrealistic expectations, our minds often fail to meet them, leading to frustration and discouragement. A good goal to aim for is just a little bit of change per session, with no expected end result. The second mindset to cultivate while meditating is to take a good time. While meditating, think of yourself as if you have all the time in the world. The presence of other plans or obligations in your mind can hinder your meditation. The best way to combat this is to set a timer and dedicate that specific time solely to meditation. During that period, relax fully and immerse yourself in the practice, focusing on your breath or cultivating awareness of your body and mind. By eliminating distractions and creating a peaceful environment, you allow yourself to fully engage in the meditation, leading to a more profound and transformative experience. This is the only goal in the process, not to seek any change, but to take good time with your mind and meditation. The third mindset that we all have to develop is letting it come and letting it go. During meditation, it's not always possible to maintain focus and concentration. Thoughts and distractions may arise. However, as long as you remain mindful and aware of these thoughts, allow them to come. Observe them without judgment or attachment, then gently release them. Think of it as watching traffic pass by. You're sitting beside the road, observing the various vehicles without attempting to stop or chase them. Similarly, we shouldn't force our minds to suppress thoughts. Instead, observe them, acknowledge them as thoughts, and let them pass. This practice, though challenging at first, becomes easier with consistent effort. By allowing thoughts to come and go, you create a more peaceful and enjoyable meditation experience. Fighting distractions or struggling to suppress thoughts only intensifies them. So, what do we want to achieve? The goal is to be able to acknowledge the thoughts that you have, but to never become attached to them. Also, never to judge them, just watch as the cars pass by. Embrace the present moment and allow your mind to wander without judgment. Now, consider subscribing to our channel and liking this video for more from Wisdom and Wealth. The final mindset to cultivate during meditation is to be gentle with yourself. Like a baby learning to walk, we all begin meditation as novices. Be patient, kind, and understanding with yourself. Avoid forcing progress or setting unrealistic expectations. Just as we gently guide and support a baby learning to walk, we should gently guide and support our minds during meditation. Even if you don't perceive immediate progress, trust that consistent practice will lead to significant transformation. As long as you enjoy the process, you'll gradually experience profound benefits in your life. So, be gentle with yourself, embrace the journey, and trust in your ability to cultivate a peaceful and focused mind. These are just a few key mindsets that you can cultivate during meditation. By incorporating these principles into your practice, you can create a more fulfilling and transformative experience. Remember, meditation is a journey, not a destination. Be patient, persistent, and gentle with yourself, and you'll gradually unlock the profound benefits of this ancient practice. So, as we bring this video to a close, I want to thank you for taking the time to explore these transformative concepts. Remember, the path to wisdom and wealth is a journey, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Let's now hear what we can do when accused of something we did not do. Welcome to today's video. Today I want to share with you how can we deal with accusations in life. Now there are two types of accusations. The first one is the true accusation and the second one is the false accusation. Now no matter how good we are, no matter how much better in life we are, mistakes can happen and people can accuse us. So how can we deal with this? Now in Buddhism it teaches you when you have been accused in any kind of way, whether it is a true accusation, whether it is a false accusation, you have to establish two qualities in your mind. Okay? What are these two qualities? In Buddhism it teaches you have to establish the truthfulness in your mind, okay? You have to be truthful. The second one is you have to be kind at that time. You have to establish the love and kindness at that time. Now why should we practice and why should we establish these two qualities? Most of the time when we have been falsely accused, okay? When we have been falsely accused, one of the things that we lose is our kindness and our patience. We become panicked and we try to prove ourselves that we are not wrong, we are right, and we use anger and we use that rudeness to prove ourselves that we are right. But when you become so much panic and whenever you use your anger and hate to prove yourself right, it's very unproductive and it becomes very unsuccessful in proving that, because most of the time people will never listen to you when you are angry and people will never listen to you when they are angry as well. So that is why in Buddhism it teaches you first thing that one of the best things that you can do is to be kind and to be patient when you are being accused. Now, please consider subscribing and liking this video for more from Wisdom and Wealth. And the second quality is to establish your mind in truthfulness. Now what do you mean by that? Let's say you've been accused for a mistake that you have done. Okay? Sometimes we don't like to accept that we have done a mistake. Okay? So at that time we lie and we say like, no, we didn't do that, I didn't do that. But in Buddhism it teaches you if you have done a mistake, just accept it and make it correct, try to correct yourself. Okay? And if you have not done it, you have to clearly say impatiently with kindness and compassion, you have to clearly say that I didn't do it. Okay? So in that way you have to establish the truthfulness in your mind. These are the two qualities that we have to practice and you have to develop when we have been accused in any kind of way. So when we add these wonderful two qualities to your life, you try this and see the difference that you get from the accusations. When you accept the mistake that you have done, you gain the trust of the people around you. Okay? So it is very important to practice these simple two qualities in your life. Practice these things and be happy. Welcome to today's video. Today from this video I want to share with you one of the most inspirational and one of the most controversial statements from the Buddha. The Buddha said, oneself is one's own refuge. How can another person becomes the refuge of another person? With enough self-discipline, right? With thorough self-discipline one can attain one's own refuge. Now in life sometimes we wait for other people to come and change our life, come and save our life. But the Buddha says that this is a sad news, but it is the truth that no one is coming to save you but yourself. No one can save you but yourself, right? And that is what Buddha teaches you. Try to save yourself by yourself. Now the Buddha said, even I cannot save you, I'm not your Salvatore. The Buddha said that I'm not your Salvatore, I cannot save you. I can show you the path, I'm a teacher, I am the guider. But I cannot ascend you to your happiness, I cannot take you to your happiness. The Buddha said that what I have done is showing you the path, right, but by yourself, through yourself you have to walk the path alone. And that is why in Buddhism it is all about exploring who you are through yourself, by yourself. Okay? And that is why we have to remember that we are all alone in this world. Now, consider subscribing and liking this video for more from Wisdom and Wealth. There is no one that can save us. There are people who can help us, there are people who can guide us, but there is a limit. For an example, if you are going through a tough time in life, let's say you are having anxiety or depression, people can help you. People can tell you what to do and what not to do, and they can guide you. But by yourself, by all means by yourself, you have to deal with that problem, you have to go through that situation, and you have to heal yourself. And that is why I believe in Buddhism believe that there is nothing in this life that can destroy you other than your thoughts. And there is nothing in this world that can save you and that can heal you other than your thoughts and how you live in your life. And that is why in Buddhism it is more given a big space about the self-discipline, to be self-disciplined and to practice it and to explore who you really are. So always remember that no one is coming to save you but yourself. No one can save you but yourself. Keep this in your mind. And keep practicing the good things. Welcome to another video. Now you probably heard about this Buddhist statement and Buddhist saying that says nothing is permanent in this life and everything is subjected to change. Now this is one of the core and main teachings in Buddhism, and in Pali language we call it anicca. Anicca can be literally translated as impermanence or subjecting for something to be changed. Okay? So what did really Buddha taught about ain or impermanence? Let's take a look at it now. When we talk about impermanence now, everything that is around us, that is, that we can see, that we can hear, that we can feel, has one nature in common, and that is, it is subjected to change. That is one nature that is shared with all the things that are around us. Okay? From the smallest atom to the biggest thing in this world, everything is subjected to change and everything is ever changing. There is nothing stable in life. Now normally when we look at now, it seems like very easily recognizable phenomena and a process, but let's say like this for an example. Now there's a cup here, all right. Now if I ask from you, how does this cup become impermanence? How do you answer? Or then you can say, oh, this falls down, when it shatters it becomes impermanent. Okay, that is one way of understanding and one way of recognizing what is impermanent. Now what Buddha meant about a nature or impermanence is a way more subtler impermanence than what we talk about. Now the Buddha said your feelings and your thoughts and your perception and your weave towards this cup becomes impermanent and it is ever changing. Now that impermanence happens now, right? For an example, like let's say now you can say this is stable. Okay, this is not changing, this is not shattered, it stays. But our thoughts and our feelings and our perceptions are ever changing right now, right here. So to understand that kind of impermanent is way more subtler, and it is very, very difficult, and that is why we need the meditation practice and spiritual practice to understand this. So how can we recognize and how can we realize this nature of impermanent? Now, please consider subscribing and liking this video for more from Wisdom and Wealth. Now the Buddha said the first step is to slow down and to be calm. The Buddha said you cannot comprehend and you cannot realize this kind of impermanence through a distracted mind. When your mind is distracted, it is very difficult to focus on this impermanence, and that is why the Buddha introduced samatha meditation or calming meditations to calm down your mind. And in the meantime, in the same time, we have to practice the wisdom through learning the Buddhist teachings and through wisely reflecting on the reality to bring up the wisdom that is within us. When the calmness and the peacefulness and concentration paired with wisdom, the Buddha said that you can reach and you can identify and realize this kind of impermanence. So what Buddha meant by anicca is a way more subtler and way more deeper meaning than the normal and superficial meaning of impermanence. So that is what Buddha meant. So that is what we have to practice to realize and to see in Buddha's teachings. So I hope you got some idea about what ana is. So add this into your life and try to realize this anicca by practicing meditation and by realizing the true nature of your life. I need to ask a question from you. Do you really exist now? Have you ever thought of this question? It sounds like a funny question, right? Do you really exist, and do I really exist now? This was a question that was asked from the Buddha on point, but the Buddha refused to give any answer to this question. Buddha kept silent to this question. The reason why the Buddha kept silent was not because he did not know about anything about this, but the Buddha said that by answering these kind of questions will lead to a lot of wrong views, it will lead to a lot of problems. Okay, now for an example, if one said like, okay, I do not exist or you do not exist, then there will be many questions and many problems. Then it will lead to many problems, like, okay, if I do not exist, then who is the person who is experiencing all those karma, and who is the person who is being reborn? Okay, and also if I don't really exist, what's the point of doing good and bad things, right? There's no point of doing good and there's no point of doing bad. Okay, and there's no point of becoming kind to people, and there's no point of helping people. So it will lead to many problems and many ethical dilemmas by answering these kinds of questions. And that is why the Buddha refused to give answers on point and directly to these kind of questions, but the Buddha explained that who you are, okay, that's what Buddha focused on. So the Buddha said that by answering these kinds of questions, that by saying that you don't exist, you falls into one extreme, and that is called nihilism or complete annihilation. Now one of the complaints that Buddha got in his time was the people complained him that he was a complete annihilator. Okay, he annihilates people by letting them into the nibbana, so people considered as nibbana as a complete annihilation, but it is not a complete annihilation. The Buddha said that when you say that you don't exist, it falls under one extreme, and that is called nihilism, which was known as ukita, and if you say that you exist, then it falls into the other extreme, and that is called the sashwata or the eternalism. What Buddha teaches now. Please consider subscribing and liking this video for more from Wisdom and Wealth. You is what the Buddha says that my teachings lies in the middle. I teach you the middle way. What is the middle way? To find what you consider as who you are or true self, okay, and realize the nature of it. The Buddha said Buddha did not say that you don't exist. The Buddha did not say that you exist. The Buddha said what you consider, what one consider as self or I, is subjected to change. All right, now what we consider as I, we consider as I is our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our body, and our mind. Okay, this is whom we called I, and also what are the things that we called consider as ours, the things that we see, the things that we hear, the things that we smell, and the things that we taste, and the things that we physically feel, and the things that we think. So all those things together we called as I or my things, okay, myself. So the Buddha said just take a look at to these things what you call self, and understand that all the things that you consider as yourself is subjected to change. It is ever changing. For an example, our eyes and our ears, nose, tongue, body, mind is ever changing, right? What we see in this world, what we experience in this world is subjected to change. Right here, right now, it is changing. So the Buddha said what you consider as I or myself or mine is subjected to change. Then the Buddha said if something is subjected to change and that is suffering, okay, that leads to suffering. For an example, let's say we having a good time and we having good experiences and good feelings and happy feelings. So what we like to do, we like to feel, we like for them to be permanent, okay, we like to feel good forever, but it is subjected to change, okay, it is changing, and when it is changing we suffer. And let's say we are having a bad experience or difficult experience, then what we think is okay, this pain, this suffering is going to last forever, but it is also subjected to change. So that is why the Buddha said what you consider as you is subjected to change, and if something is subjected to change, it is suffering. And then Buddha said if something is suffering, should it be considered as mine or I or myself? Turns out it is not. Why? Because if something is suffering, we should not consider it as ourself. We don't like to consider it as ourself, because as human beings, okay, as beings we all like to be happy, not to suffer, okay, and that is why the Buddha said Buddha did not say that you do not exist. The Buddha did not say that you exist. The Buddha said what you consider as yourself, what you consider as I is subjected to change, and it is suffering, and then as it is suffering it should not be considered as self. Now this whole concept is called anatta in Buddhism. The word anatta is oftenly translated as no self, but rather when you take this word no self, right, it gives the meaning that you don't exist. That is why many people say okay, the Buddha said that you don't exist. No, Buddha did not say that you do not exist. The Buddha said what you considered as I or you is not yourself, okay. It should not be considered as yourself, and that is what the concept of, and rather than saying no self, it's much better to say that it is not self, and this is the whole idea behind the concept of anatta in Buddhism. Now, please consider subscribing and liking this video for more from Wisdom and Wealth. So I hope you learned something new today. I wish you all, may all of you be happy and healthy. Welcome to today's video. What should we do when we have been criticized? Now, no matter how good we are, no matter how talented we are, okay, no matter how skillful we are, we've been criticized, and we all will be criticized even in the future, okay. No matter how good things that you do to this society, there are people who are not agree with you, who will see you as someone who is like a bad person. So it's okay to be like that. It's okay for people to not to understand you. So how can we deal with this criticism? Now, when it comes to criticism, there are two types, right? The first type of criticism is the constructive criticism. That means if someone is criticizing you to improve yourself, to make yourself more successful, okay, for someone who is looking for your happiness and for your successfulness may criticize you for the good, okay. But there is the other type of criticism, and that is the negative criticism, okay. People sometimes when they cannot understand you, people when they are jealous of you, they may criticize you to put you down. So how can we deal with it now? I found this wonderful story in Buddhism that teaches you something about criticism. In the past, in the Buddhist time, a group of people went to a monastery and they wanted to meet some monk. So first of all they went to a monk, and he was living kind of a silent and very secluded life. He didn't prefer to talk much, so they went to him and they met with him and asked to preach some teachings in Buddhism. But this monk was so silent, so he used to stay silent, maybe talk a few words, and didn't give much information, right? So they start to criticize that monk, saying like, this monk is staying silent, why he doesn't know anything, right? So they start to criticize, and they went to the other monk to meet, and that monk had a good idea and good way of explanations, and he knew about very deep teachings of Buddhism, and that monk explained very deep and profound teachings in Buddhism. So they could not understand that. Then what they did was they start to criticize, oh, he teaches very complex things and we cannot understand anything, teach us something simple, right? So they criticize that monk as well. Now, please consider subscribing and liking this video for more from Wisdom and Wealth. Then they went to the next one, and he was using very simple ideas and very simple ways of explanation to them, and he was explaining the Buddhism in a more simpler way, right? Then that group of people start to criticize that monk as well. Oh, he's being always simple and superficial and using these simple things we all can understand, teach us something complex and teach us something deep. Now all these three monks was confused, like, why do they do it like this? So they went to meet the Buddha. These three monks went to meet the Buddha and informed this incident. Then the Buddha said, no matter you stay silent, no matter you teach complex stuff or like profound stuff, or no matter you use simple words to speak, you will always be criticized by people. That's the nature of this world. No one has never been criticized in this world. Okay, so that is why we have to understand criticism is something that we all face in all of our lives. One thing that you have to be okay with is that for people to not to understand you, okay, not every person can understand you, not every person can comprehend that what you are doing. As long as you're doing good, as long as you're doing something helpful for yourself and others, then keep on doing it whether you've been criticized or not. So that is what we have to have, that is the weave that we have to have on the criticism. If you're doing something good, keep on doing it. Do not ever stop being a good person and doing good because of people who cannot understand you. Keep that in your mind. Buddha. In Buddhism there is a practice called Sila. Kala is the way of self-discipline and moral conduct and virtuous behavior. So let's talk about Sila from this video. So fundamentally all Buddhists practice 5 precepts. These 5 precepts are abstaining from killing beings, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from telling lies, and abstaining from using intoxicating drinks and drugs. So these are the 5 precepts that all lay men and lay women practice, and on poet days or full moon poet days and full moon days, which is a special day for all Buddhists, they practice 8 precepts, and for a novice monk or a junior monk they get 10 precepts to practice, and for a senior monk or a higher ordained monk they have 227 precepts to practice. So lot of disciplinary codes and lot of precepts, and lot of you might think lot of rules, right? This is a complaint that most of the time that I hear from people who are new to Buddhism. They say, oh, there are a lot of rules, there are a lot of disciplinary codes, and there are a lot of restrictions, it kind of steal my freedom. But here's the thing, Buddhist precepts are not meant to be rules. They are not rules, they are self-discipline, disciplinary virtues that Buddha introduced to practice to keep the mind out of regret and to keep the mind more wholesome, to bring the mind to a more wholesome state. So why did Buddha introduce this practice as a sila or a disciplinary, these virtues or moral conducts or precepts? Why did he do that? The reason is the Buddha realized when someone engaged in such activities like breaking a precept, it accumulates bad karma or unwholesome karma, and what unwholesome karma leads to, that leads to suffering or regret. For an example, if someone kills animals or kill living beings, that needs to he must create lot of unwholesome intentions like violence, cruelty and harmful thoughts, right? So these thoughts will lead to harmful results or suffering. The Buddha said that intention is the karma. Monks, I say the intention is the karma. So as intention is the karma, if someone generates more unwholesome intentions, then he will accumulate more unwholesome karma, which leads to unwholesome results or suffering as a result. So the Buddha said it is much better to stay away from these actions which leads to suffering in life, and that is why Buddha introduced sila as a practice to be disciplined from your body and from your words, to live a life of less regret, right? So most of the time people, when they commit or when they do these such offenses, or I would say when they do such unwholesome actions, what is the final result? It leads to the regret, right? They think like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Maybe after a long time they'll think like, I shouldn't have done that. To stay away from that regret, to stay away from your mind complaining to yourself that you're a bad person, you did this bad thing, to stay away from that, the Buddha said, be disciplined, live a life of self-discipline, or live a virtuous life. That is why Buddha introduced these precepts as sealer, and also remember that if someone breaks such a precept, there is not a person or there is not any God who is going to punish that person. Buddha is not coming to punish you, okay? So if someone breaks the precepts, the Buddha introduced a way to make it correct, okay? If you did a mistake, the Buddha said that it is okay to do mistakes. Mistakes can happen, but you have to correct that mistake. Understand that mistake as a mistake, okay? Understand that offense as an offense and correct it. The way to correct an offense or a mistake is to be open up. Do not hide that offense. Do not keep that mistake in your life and hide it and cover up and live like pretend to be a good person. The Buddha said, if you did something, if you did an offense, be opened up, tell it to a wise person who can understand you and who can forgive you. Tell it to that person and free your mind. Okay, that is why in monks' tradition, usually in monks' disciplinary records, if a monk did an offense, or it is called apathy in monks' tradition, if apathy has happened, a mistake has happened, the way that we can correct that mistake is to go to a brother monk or a spiritual companion and to be open up to him to say that I did this offense, this mistake has happened within me, so I'm going to correct it. I'm trying my best to protect and to be disciplined hereafter. And that is the way that we correct our mistakes. So you may be wondering, what is the use of practicing sealer or being disciplined? So in Kamati Sutra, the Buddha explained this to Venerable Ananda. Venerable Ananda asked from the Buddha, Bhante, what is the purpose and benefit of wholesome virtuous behavior, which is sila? The Buddha says, Ananda, the purpose and benefit of wholesome virtuous behavior is non-regret. By practicing sila, it leads to non-regret. And what is the purpose and benefit of non-regret? The purpose and benefit of non-regret is joy. And what is the purpose and benefit of joy? The purpose and benefit of joy is rapture, is more spiritual pleasure. And what is the purpose and benefit of rapture? The purpose and benefit of rapture is tranquility. And what is the purpose and benefit of tranquility? The purpose and benefit of tranquility is pleasure. And what is the purpose and benefit of pleasure? The purpose and benefit of pleasure is concentration. And what is the purpose and benefit of concentration? The purpose and benefit of concentration is the knowledge and vision of things as they are, the realization of reality. And what Bhante is purpose and benefit of the knowledge and vision of the things as they are? The purpose and benefit of knowledge and vision of things as they are is disenchantment and dispassion. And what is the purpose and benefit of disenchantment and dispassion? The purpose and benefit of disenchantment and dispassion is the knowledge and vision of liberation. So the whole practice, whole steps leads to the liberation. So one must practice the Buddhist precepts to find the liberation, which we call vimti in Buddhist tradition. So being disciplined, it will make you liberate. So someone can think being disciplined and having these disciplinary cords will lead to restricted life, more difficult life, more boring life. Someone can say, usually people say that, oh, monk's life is so boring, they have lot of things to lot of restrictions and lot of rules to practice. It is difficult, it is boring. Actually, monk's life is so interesting and more enjoyable and more happy, because so many things you haven't tried this. That is why so many people think that this is boring, but this is one thing, one life that one can enjoy very much and which is very peaceful. So always remember, by being disciplined you can free your mind, and that is why we believe that discipline leads to the freedom. So that is why in Buddhism it is practiced the sealer or the self-discipline. So this is a little information about sealer or the practice of self-discipline in Buddhism. So I hope you got some idea about this. So let's meet in the next video. Now, please consider subscribing and liking this video for more from Wisdom and Wealth. Buddha Nam Buddha. Welcome to another video. We all know that it is really difficult to find our own mistakes and our own faults and correct them, but it is really easy to point out other people's mistakes and find other people's faults. This is one lesson that my parents taught me when I was a child. They said, son, when you point one finger towards others, there are three fingers pointing at you. Sometimes there are many mistakes in ourselves, but we keep on finding other people's faults, other people's mistakes. But we all know that we should stop finding faults in others, but it is really difficult. Why is it? It is difficult. It is because of this habit, the mental pattern of finding faults in others. Luckily, this is a habit which we can change, which we can take control and stop it. So there are a few things that we have to understand and we have to realize to stop finding faults on others and be more focused on ourselves. In Dapad verse number 50, the Buddha says, music, one should not find other people's faults. What one should not find what good or bad others have done or not have done. Rather, one should find what mistakes and what good or bad things that one has done or has not done. So this is how to be focused on ourselves. Once you realize that no one in this world is perfect, then it is very easy to understand about why they make mistakes and why people keep doing wrong things. Most of the time we used to complain why they are doing this right, why people are behaving like this, why can't they behave like me, why can't they be like me, but turns out that no one can be like you. Do not expect people to be like you, okay? People are different, one person to another, and that is what makes this human life and human world so much beautiful, because there is this vibrant difference between people. In each and every human-made thing there is an error. So back in those days when we were learning physics, we used to calculate all the things and measurements, and when we are doing it we calculate one thing that is called the human error. Okay, what is it? The human error. That means the nature of humans is that there is an error always, and that error is not a bad thing. It is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it is the most beautiful thing in this world. Okay, so understand that no one is perfect and no one can be like you, and no one can behave according to all the way that you want, because people are living in their own worlds, in their own lives. They have their own dislikes and likes, so they live according to those intentions and emotions. So we have to understand that no one is perfect in this world, and also understand that everyone is struggling in this life. Right, there is this unsatisfied nature in everyone's life, isn't it? This is one thing that we have to understand. This is one of the major teachings in Buddhism. The Buddha says that realize that there is this unsatisfied nature in your life, right? Understand it as it is, and once you realize that there is this unsatisfied nature in your mind, you can relate it to other people as well. Same as I am unsatisfied and same as I am suffering in my life, other people's are also suffering. Other people's are also struggling in their life, so they will make mistakes, they will do wrong things. So these are the things that we have to understand, just to not to find faults on others, but to rather be focused on our mistakes and our doings and non-doings. So understand these things. And also there's one thing now, by saying this, should you forget all the mistakes that other people do and just focus on yourself? I would say no, because there are people in your life that you should find faults. You should care about the mistakes that they do. There are the people who live closely to your life. They are the people who love you most. They are the people who you love most. Always remember, when you see such people's mistakes, there is a way to correct them. Okay, it is okay to find the faults on those people, but there is a way to approach them. There is a way to correct them. Do not choose the easiest way to correct other people's mistake. What is the easiest way? Using the anger and using the violence to correct mistakes on other people. This is not a productive way. If you truly love someone, if you truly care about other people's life, their life, you should approach them to correct their mistake in a more productive way. So you should think, what is the most productive way that I can correct their mistakes, not to just to. Now, please consider subscribing and liking this video for more from Wisdom and Wealth. Hold on to them is not to make them hold on to their own mistakes, and keep on doing it, not just to make them more stubborn on their mistakes. So when you consider about that, you find the easiest way and you find the correct way to approach them. The best way to correct someone's mistake is to speak to them privately, not in publicly. Speak to them privately and just explain what mistakes that they are doing, okay, and explain the consequences of the mistakes. And also you have to praise and you have to appreciate the good things that they do. The more you see the good side and the bright side of the people, it is very easy to approach them and correct their mistakes. The more we see the negative side or the dark side of the people, here's one thing happened: you lose the ability to communicate, because